ABC has suspended Jimmy Kimmel Live indefinitely following controversial comments the late night host made about the killing of conservative commentator Charlie Kirk. The decision comes after Nexstar announced its ABC affiliates would stop airing the show over the remarks. A spokesperson for Kimmel has not responded to requests for comment. Kimmel, like fellow late night host Stephen Colbert, has been a vocal critic of President Donald Trump. While CBS says Colbert's show is ending for financial reasons later this season, some critics have questioned whether his political stance may have also played a role. I sat down with Andrew Donaldson, editor at OrdinaryTimes.com, to discuss ABC's decision.
Andrew, thank you so much for the time today.
Anytime, Teresa. Happy to be with you.
Now, can you walk us through what was so controversial about Jimmy Kimmel and what he said about Charlie Kirk's assassination?
Well, the crux of it was number one that he brought it up, and once he brought it up, it was going to be a thing no matter what he said. But he went with the line that the assassin of Charlie Kirk was a MAGA. Now we already know that we have an indictment. Now we have legal paperwork about who he was, what he believed. We know what his family believes. We know the internet rabbit holes he went down, and that was the start of what people were really upset with. What he said, how he said it. And it's also important to note Jimmy Kimmel is somebody who's already been under fire for how he addresses issues like this, including from President Trump, who tweeted about him back in July when the Stephen Colbert situation happened, and he said Jimmy Kimmel is next. So he was already kind of on a watch list for this. He said this, and that's what set all this off.
And is there weight to the claim that this firing is political? And what is the Trump administration being accused of here? I mean, you just said that Donald Trump did say that Jimmy Kimmel is next. So do you think that the Trump administration was just waiting for an opportunity to take a shot at Jimmy Kimmel?
It's a fair criticism with a whole lot of circumstantial evidence, and the FCC director, Carr, didn't help himself by inserting himself on this and then thanking the broadcaster for holding up Disney ABC to pull him off the air once it was done. There's a lot of layers to this, but in all things, all political stories, even a media story, is really about power and money. And power and money in local TV, which is what this Nexstar group is about, goes to ad revenue. And in a coming up midterm election year, ad revenue is heavily going to be dependent on things like political ad revenue. It's one of the things that's keeping local media afloat. Then add on top of the fact that this company is up for not only a merger approval by the FCC, but actually needs a regulatory rule change by the FCC to get the mergers they are seeking approved. There's a lot of political tentacles here, and there's a lot of stuff that looks very bad beyond just the free speech things that could be just some out and out kind of playing for favorites here, trying to get under the spigot for money for that political ad revenue. And it's a long running criticism of the FCC that it shouldn't have this power for either party to have when they have the presidency, to be a cudgel to beat political donations and to warp media to their needs. This is a long running issue with the FCC. This is just the latest version of it.
And is this situation setting a new precedent for how networks respond to political commentary on entertainment shows?
It looks like this is a trend, especially in the Trump era, because President Trump is very good at weaponizing media for his own purposes. We already know he spends an inordinate amount of his time watching his own coverage. He obsesses over it, and he is an older generation. So the networks and the media coverage of the networks matters a lot to him. He's already been talked to openly the last few months before any of this happened, before Kimmel, before Charlie Kirk. Him and his administrations and their back channels and friendly media have been talking about things like challenging licensures for broadcasters that didn't fall in line and didn't do what they wanted to do. So a lot of this stuff is coming up because of contemporary events like Charlie Kirk, like Jimmy Kimmel, whatever the next thing will be. But this fits into a plan that has already been in effect for quite a while, and there's plenty of public statements to back that up.
And following Charlie Kirk's assassination, the conversation about free speech really blew up in America. Now that Jimmy Kimmel has been fired, there is the conversation again about free speech coming, but this time from the other side. What do you make of that? And do you think that this is a violation of free speech?
We're finding out who means it when they talk about free speech and who doesn't. And all of these things have to be taken. If a college student says something really stupid, they need to be dealt with one way. If an employee of a state-run university of that same university says something, they have a different standard. People that are on, if you write for the Washington Post, if you're on television, if you're on a platform like you and I are talking on, we have a different standard on what we say and how the repercussions of our speech will do it. That's not just a free speech thing. That's a repercussion and consequences of what you say based on your position and platform. So we're finding out in real time and having an experiment here on who actually means what they say about this person said this, their employer has a right to take that up, and then balance that out with having these sort of digital things where people are putting together lists and just running down anybody that says anything they don't like, no matter how benign it may be or how ugly it may be. So this is a good opportunity to watch people, see what they actually believe through their actions about free speech, and we should believe what they're telling us.
And what might this mean for other late night hosts and their editorial choices going forward?
Well, they're kind of running out of them. Now, this is a medium. We went over all this with the Colbert thing. This is a medium that's kind of business wise dying. It's an older demographic. It doesn't really fit the modern. They're basically become clip shows for social media. They're just doing bits to try to get on their social media presence and get a viral moment out of them. So, this is something that was kind of low hanging fruit for people to attack anyway with Stephen Colbert and Jimmy Kimmel. The medium is probably never going to completely go away, but I think it will change. But the political charge of the moment has certainly hastened its demise.
Well, Andrew, thank you so much for the time today.